Good evening and welcome to tonight's concert. This is the 8th grade jazz ensemble, and we meet generally in two separate groups depending upon what they have for their 4th period class. So we met earlier today once and we met last week once. Otherwise, we haven't been together too much on these pieces. Our first piece today is called Manteca. It's written by Dizzy Gillespie in 1947. And at that time, everything was swing. If it was pop music or if it was big band, it was swing. So Dizzy hired a Cuban percussionist named Tozo to join his band. And Tozo wrote the first part of this, and then Dizzy wrote the B section, so it was more like a jazz piece. And I read online that his band really didn't know how to play Latin, so they still swung everything while the percussion section was playing even eighths. We're not going to do that. We're going to play even eighths. And there are several soloists listed in your program. Manteca. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Our next piece is TJ's Boogie. And I tried to figure out who TJ is, and somebody in the band said, well, it's the composer's initials backwards, and that's as good a guess as any. The boogie refers to boogie woogie, and boogie woogie was primarily a piano style that became very popular in about the 1920s. Starving musicians would have pitch-in boogie parties in their apartments, and people would pay to come, and then they could pay the rent from the money they made from that. And then it spread to big bands and lots of other genres. And then it had a resurgence again in the 1950s. So this is kind of a throwback to the boogie woogie style. Before we play our last tune, I'd like to tell you just how much I've enjoyed working with these kids. It's been really fun. They're a very talented group. They're a hardworking group. It's been exciting to have so many of them. I think I counted 42 or 44, which kind of makes for a jazz army. But that's okay. It's good. I understand that Apple Valley High School Jazz 2 has about as many kids as my jazz army, and that's awesome. A lot of them have told me that they plan on continuing their jazz experience in high school too, which is really good. We played at the Edina Jazz Festival at the end of March, which was a lot of fun. We also had 5 students in this group that auditioned for and were accepted into the State MBDA Honor Jazz Band, and they were Lane Donnell on bass guitar, Kyle Olson on trombone. Kyle, you can stand up. And then most of the trumpet section, we had Arsen Hanushak and Mason Pulban and Logan Rasmussen. Moving on to our last piece, Enter Sandman. This is a very dark piece, but you don't have to listen to the lyrics because it's a jazz band. And I'd like to thank Josh Collins for helping out with this. I read a little bit about this piece, and the riff and the main body of the song was done long before the lyrics were written. And I guess they came up with at least 2 different sets of lyrics before they decided on which ones it was going to be. And then there was a big argument in the band about what was going to be the single that they released, because that's what you did back in '91. And Enter Sandman ended up being the single that they released from the Metallica album. Here we go.